Dr. David Landsborough III was a British medical missionary who served in Taiwan from 1895 to 1936. He was the founder of Zhonghua Christian Hospital. Through sheer determination and commitment, he transformed medical care in central Taiwan, brought vast benefits to its people, and marked a new chapter in the history of Western medicine in Taiwan. Now come with us to his homeland. Let us retrace his footsteps and see how the Landsborough family began their life of service and commitment. Let us go back to the origin of their story. Dr. David Landsborough III was born in Scotland in 1870. He was the third in a succession of David Landsboroughs. From age 3 to 17, he studied at Kilmarnock School, where he was an excellent student. In front of the Kilmarnock School is the Dick Institute of Kilmarnock Community, which stores numerous archives bearing the legacy of Dr. Landsborough's father. David Landsborough II was a natural scientist and a zealous preacher who was held in high esteem by the local people. This bronze statue was erected to honor his contributions to the local community. David Landsborough II was the presiding pastor of the Henderson Church. When Dr. Landsborough III returned from Taiwan for the first time in 5 years, a warm welcoming ceremony was held in Henderson Church, and the title Honorary Elder was bestowed on Dr. Landsborough. Both Landsboroughs were highly regarded by the church for their work and were much admired at the time. When Reverend Landsborough retired after 50 years of service, the Presbyterian Church of Scotland presented him with a plaque of the highest honor to commemorate his numerous contributions to the local community. With its winding lanes lined with trees and greenery, Kilmarnock is an unassuming and congenial country town. One of its roads is named Landsborough Drive after the Reverend Landsborough. It is Kilmarnock's lasting tribute to this remarkable pastor. Besides its wonderful scenery and climate, Scotland is well known for the congeniality of its people, which is perhaps one of its great allures. David Landsborough, the first and second, were both preachers. David Landsborough III and IV, on the other hand, were both physicians. David Landsborough I presided over 2 churches, one in Saltcoats and the other in Stevenston. He was greatly respected by his congregation and was buried here in 1854. Glasgow is the largest city in Scotland. The University of Glasgow is a highly prestigious institution. Before Dr. Landsborough III entered the University of Edinburgh, he studied the arts at this university. Reverend Campbell N. Moody, who accompanied Dr. Landsborough to Taiwan, also graduated and received his doctorate in theology from this university. Passing through the wheat fields and breathing fresh air, we arrive at Lennoxtown. This is the church where Reverend Campbell N. Moody served when he returned from Taiwan after retiring. Reverend Moody served God all his life. He died in 1940 at 76 years of age and was buried in the cemetery next to the church. Edinburgh is the capital of Scotland. It is among the most scenic of Europe's historical cities. The University of Edinburgh is one of the world's pinnacle institutions. Dr. Landsborough III, his father and grandfather, all graduated from this university. Dr. Landsborough became a member of the Edinburgh Medical Missionary Club 1 year prior to graduating from Edinburgh's medical school. He lived in dormitory number 56 in George Square, which was built expressly for medical missionaries. That year, he chose to commit himself to Taiwan and embarked there soon after graduation when he was 25 years of age. After residing in Taiwan for 27 years, he continued to pursue his doctor's degree while vacationing in Britain. He was awarded a doctorate in medicine at McEwen Hall when he was 53 years of age. From Scotland to London, from small town to big city, this is the route Dr. Landsborough took on his journey to Taiwan. It was at this Waterloo station that the London headquarters held a farewell ceremony for Dr. Landsborough and Reverend Moody. London is a completely different environment from Scotland. It is a bustling place crowded with people and traffic. High-rise buildings mark the city's modern layout. For many, London is a tourist mecca. But for the Landsborough family, it is a place tied to them through a conjugal union. Mrs. Marjorie Landsborough was a Londoner. She met Dr. Landsborough while working as a missionary in Taiwan. Mutual attraction between them eventually led to marriage. In 1914, they gave birth to David Landsborough IV in Zhanghua. Thus, Dr. Landsborough IV frequently called himself a Zhanghua-grown Briton and considered Taiwan his second homeland.
自然我是真爱将其的进步伫各方面啊。所拄着来医院求医治的人，会通听到福音啊，会通得到福音的影响，也是对福音来信耶稣。Of course, I want that. 咱的医院的目标就是医治甲传福音吼，还个救济吼，还个教育吼。
Dr. David Landsborough IV was Zhanghua Christian Hospital's 9th superintendent. Together with his wife, Dr. Jean Murray Landsborough, he served in Taiwan for 27 years. After his retirement in 1980, he took up residence in a suburb of London. The Land's residence plaque at the front gate is written in Chinese characters, a sign of Dr. Landsborough's longing for Taiwan. Dr. Landsborough IV is a thorough British gentleman who speaks a genuinely down-to-earth Taiwanese dialect. Though retired for 26 years and living alone, he still thinks of Taiwan all the time.
讲少年之中有同事佮朋友，伫医院时恳求你甲阮伫咧帮咱这间医院，互伊真正会通表现上帝耶稣的疼痛伫咧。恳求你帮咱恁逐个人伫遐咧做工，
Amen.
Dr. Landsborough took us on a visit to the School of Oriental and African Studies. In its library, we found a collection of Dr. Landsborough III's writings while he was in Taiwan. They included letters and notes that the elder Landsborough mailed as reports to the London headquarters. These writings seemed to carry extra significance as they were shown to us by Dr. Landsborough IV. On board the double-decker bus, Dr. Landsborough IV was an expert tour guide, guiding us through London's scenery. We could not help being thoroughly entertained by his half-Taiwanese and half-English commentary. Sunday is an important day for Christians. Dr. Landsborough woke up early for daily devotion and prepared for Sunday worship at Red Hill. This is the home church of Mrs. Marjorie Landsborough, Dr. Landsborough's mother. It is a church with a very long history. Dr. Landsborough is well known to all the congregation. Worshiping together with him was indeed a memorable experience.
From Taiwan, Mei Ling, who actually has been before, it's on the first time she's been, Yu Ying and Chi Hung. I hope they recognize their names, but nevertheless, we warmly welcome them to Red Hill today on this day visit with Dr. Landsborough.
After the worship service, we arrived at the grave sites of Mrs. Marjorie Landsborough and Dr. Jean Murray Landsborough to present flower bouquets. Silently, Dr. Landsborough gazed upon the two beloved women, seeming to reflect on good times past. Following Dr. Landsborough, we arrived at the home of the elder Dr. Landsborough. The sign on the front door read, Formosa, testifying to the elder Landsborough's devotion to Taiwan even after retirement. Packed with memories and emotion, we returned to the Lan residence. It is a house full of historical treasures. This clock dates from 1847 and has been passed down through successive Landsborough generations. Dr. Landsborough's most treasured possessions are written records of his family. This chalkboard bears Dr. Jean Murray Landsborough's handwriting, God is our refuge and strength. These 3 books were written by his great-grandfather and grandfather and were published from 1851 to 1875. They document the botanical, marine, and terrestrial species on Aran Island and the island's natural history, an island closely tied to the Landsborough family. Following Dr. Landsborough's story, we arrive at Aran Island. It is an island of breathtaking scenery, with sheep, meadows, hills, and seashores dotting its landscape. Many of the flowers and plants on the island were cultivated by David Landsborough I and II, and then transplanted to the island, thus making the foliage we see on Aran Island today possible. The tour around Aran Island completes our route-searching expedition in Britain. We have traced the footsteps of our forebears and witnessed their legacy. Through the narrative of Dr. Landsborough IV, we have gained a deeper understanding and even closer ties to the Landsborough family. This bond has been forged with the love of God by the Landsborough family for over a century. It is to be valued, cherished, and perpetrated by every member at Changhua Christian Hospital, so that this love may transform into action and continue to shine upon the hearts and souls of the Taiwanese people.
Show a gentle attitude towards everyone. Don't worry about anything, but in all your prayers, ask God for what you need, always asking Him with a thankful heart. And God's peace, which is far beyond human understanding, will keep your hearts and minds safe in union with Christ Jesus. Qua cấp Taiwan 嘅合作，也是三級做工，我感覺是真非常寶貝嘅一項事，互我真得到利益，也真享受。這個是上帝賞賜我嘅機會，多謝。